Hello, welcome to another Dave's Desk. Today with me, I've got an old and dear friend from the speaking world, Mike Pagan. Mike used to be an expert on productivity, and he's diversified his research and his development and his delivery content into that of mental well-being and creating wellbeing support networks to make us all more effective. He works in both industry as well as the education sector. So I thought we'd pick his brains a bit and just see what we could find. So I bought the microscope. Hi Mike, how you doing, mate?
Well, you started off with referring to me as old in your first sentence, so clearly I'm just over the moon and happy to be here. So rude.
We are old friends, and
Oh, right, okay.
and I'm the friend. He's old. So, so mate, tell us a little bit about how you define. What's your definition of mental well-being and the support network that you talk about?
Okay, well, in simple elements, I focus in on mental wealth. And so mental wealth is that combination of what you get with positive mental health and well-being. So
Right.
the two of them working together give you mental wealth. However, the problem is you can't have mental wealth if you have poor mental health or you have poor well-being. So actually, it almost becomes this three elements of a triangle. You need each of them working. But they don't necessarily define each other. And some people think they're a bit fluffy, i.e. well-being or mental health. Well, that's all about depression and anxiety. So the mental wealth is about having the support network around you, having the right people in your team helping you to achieve what you're trying to do. And that's the simplicity of it is. If you are supported by proactive people that are professionally capable in the professional sector, or they are just on fire, holding you accountable for the things you say you're going to do and see it through, then suddenly you're in a position of strength, support. You'll make mistakes still, but they'll have been thought out mistakes, and then you'll be able to rebuild far quicker than if you're stuck in that beautiful place of isolation.
And what causes the problem in the first place?
Isolation.
Yeah.
That's the, for me, isolation kills creativity and prevents decision making. So I repeat that, kills creativity and prevents decision making, because we sit there and just you can't make a decision. So in my language of faffing about, procrastination, we stop doing stuff, and therefore we don't go anywhere. And there's a massive difference between isolation and loneliness.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Yeah, because you've got one side of the equation is where sort of there's nobody to help me, and loneliness is, well, I just haven't got any friends to talk to today.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes. But I mean, you consider through recent times around the world going through the pandemic and everything else, this enforced isolation where people with 3 young children below the age of 10, a single parent living in a tower block and can't go anywhere, and they haven't got that support network around them. There's nobody else they're able to talk to, and they're stuck in this. It's not even a bubble. It's a prison cell to them, and it's so tough. And that's why we need these other people around us who are then proactively looking out for us. I mean, you know, the friend who something's hit the fan in your world. It could be professionally or personally, and that your phone rings or you get a message from them. Hey, Bob. Hey, Claire. Just thought of you. Now, they have no idea why they happened to send a message at that point in time. The fairies, the whatever, said, you need to drop so-and-so a message. You do, and it's just at that point.
I'm going to make some notes. Keep talking. I'm going to make some notes. Go on.
That's so important. Those are these people who are intuitively on your side, and it makes such a difference. Really does. And proactively seeking out these people and sort of moving away from the ones who don't kind of help us as much as we think they could or should.
So it's all right for those who potentially are still working, but we should clarify, this is during COVID lockdown, where sort of half the world are behaving like nothing's happened and the other half are locked in their basement with a little dripping tap in the background and a dim light rocking in a corner. And so for the people,
sadly,
yeah, and it's all right for people who can make a choice to go out, reach out, connect with people. In this time, what could people be doing sort of right here, right now, today, within the next hour, to get that connection other than the Zoom or the phone call?
It's knowing who the people are. One of the things I talk about is building a mental wealth team. And it's about having the right people in that support network of you. And they come from 4 core areas. Part of it is your self-care. Then it's your coach, your professional team, and then your masterminding. And I know, Dave, on previous Dave's desk, you talked about masterminding many times and coaching and everything else. The self-care is very much about looking after yourself. But the big thing about self-care is making yourself number one. And this is one of those areas where I've only in the last year have I really learned how to do this for myself. And that is sitting in isolation for most of that year. Because I have I'm fortunate, a wife, 3 children and a dog. And I've always been number 6. Yep. It's just a reality.
We know our place.
But the reality check of that is it's meant that when I've tried to do, I do stupid activities and other things like that. So the weekend warrior nonsense that some people call it. But if I go and do training to get fit to do something like that, I do it at really odd times of the day, sort of 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, so that I have minimal inconvenience on the rest of the family. And that includes not waking my wife up early, because that's not a good call. And it's that whole time, whereas actually, and it's not about me being selfish or trying to be more selfish, but when I put myself number one, then okay, other things have to flex. And then my sanity is strong, my mental health is strong. And so I am then able to help other people. You've heard that old cliche about the oxygen mask in the plane. I always use the diving one. You got to check your buddy's equipment, but you can't share your oxygen and when you're 20 meters underwater if you haven't worked out that yours is working or not in the first place.
And from a sort of neurochemical and psychology perspective, when you do go out of your way to serve somebody else, that is actually a more powerful sort of dopamine and oxytocin rush than doing something purely for yourself, isn't it?
And that follows on from that position of strength. I mean, I know you're a religious man, and it's spoken in all religions about look after yourself so that you can look after others. You're no good if you're spent, broken, knackered, burnt out, exhausted, whatever it is, because you're trying to do everything for everybody else. Be that in a school with 1,500 students, or be that in an organization with 12 employees or 12,000 employees. If you're knackered and useless and broken, then nothing's going to happen. So we have to put ourselves up there. And then within that team, there'll be nutritionists, there'll be fitness, there'll be meditation, there'll be all these other things that help you in your mental well-being in that same process.
So, as you know, at least 2/3 of my work is in the education sector. There'll be teachers right now, in particular, more than usual, who are absolutely frazzled. They are perhaps sort of, ideal candidates for your mental wealth stuff, but they're also having to put on a front, a bit like the NHS workers, because they're dealing with incredibly high volumes of vulnerable, challenged, stressed to the max young people. And they don't know how to deal with it. The young people don't know how to deal with it. What would your advice be there?
The key challenge I put out here is, I refer to it as a mental well-being scorecard. Yeah, the sort of silliness that I come up with. But it really is writing down the people in your network and giving them a score. As simple as that, where 1 is a low score, 10 is a high score. Yeah.
Talking about your little black book again, Michael.
No, not that one. That's a totally different scoring system, and I've lost that black book many decades ago. But when you go through and you're looking at people that you think are in your setup, so we score, maybe you come up with 10 names, maybe you come up with 45 names, whatever it is for you. You then go through this scorecard. Now, this is the fun bit. Anybody that scores between 1 and 3, yeah, they're just acquaintances. They're people you know. Yeah, you might know them from the school gate, you might know them from wherever. If they score 4s and 5s, then straight away they're in a different category, but they're still not that close. If you were in a sports team with them and you broke down on the way to a match, they'd come and give you a lift. But if you didn't turn up for 2 months because you twisted your ankle, they probably wouldn't ring you. Yeah, so they're still distant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you've got your 6s and 7s. Now these people, some of them very good friends. You have you eat and drink with them when you're allowed to. You get close to them. You probably know their children's names and all these sort of things. So you know them, but you wouldn't necessarily talk about your inner challenges or business propositions or issues within the classroom or the school or whatever it is. Then you've got your 8, 9s and 10s. And these are the people who you are happy and comfortable to be vulnerable with. You're happy to be open and honest with, because as a result of that, they give you strong support. They give you advice. And they're also going to pick up the phone and be that intuitive call that we talked about earlier that comes out of the blue.
So I call these people, some people would help you move a box, some people will help you move house, other people will help you move a dead body if you had to. So we've categorized these people. What would you say to them?
Okay, so then the only people that matter in this mental well-team scorecard are your 8, 9s and 10s. Yeah, because everybody else is noise.
So what do we do?
So some of the good friends, some of them are sort of acquaintances, whatever else. The 8, 9s and 10s, though, you add up that, however many of those. Say you've got 2 3s, a couple of 8s, and a whatever. So you add up the 8, 9s and 10s, and that gives you a score. It might be 16, it might be 75, whatever. And that's a baseline that you work from. If you've got a low score, then it says to you that the network you currently are surrounded with at the moment are not that strong, because they're not proactively looking out for you. You've got a lot of, hopefully not mood hoovers and negative people out there, but they're distractors. They're not people who are looking out for you. And when we start to look at, okay, so I've got 4 people who score 8, 9s and 10s, right? Who else should I be working with? Who else do I need to be talking to? And you work with these people to broaden the network of trusted people that will have your back. Because as soon as they are really on your side and getting excited with you, then they start talking to each other. And as a result of that, you go from 3 to 8 to 12 to 15 people proactively looking out for you.
Fantastic stuff. So three of your many things that you help people with is, number 1, you show them how to reach out. Number 2, get a core team around you, be that a group or individuals, or just look at the people around you that you've got right now. With the people you've got right now, you use your scorecard methodology to rate them, score them, and then work on it until you've built up that support network for yourself.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because that way, because in that environment where I talked before about the self-care, the coach, the professional sector, so that's accountants, solicitors, wealth manager, people like that, and then the mastermind. As soon as we look at that, very quickly you can see a mastermind group might have 6 to 10 people in there who are all proactively supporting you. Your professional sector's 3 people. Your self-care could be another 5 or 6, and your coach, well, it depends on what you're trying to achieve, because you could have several coaches, one for your business, one for your fitness, one for everything. So straight away, in a relatively short amount of time, you can get to 10 plus people who have got your back. And this is the point. When they've got your back, then you come up with a harebrained idea. I want to get a new job. I want to move to a different situation, or this is going. They will ask better questions than you can ask yourself, because they're not emotionally connected to what's going on. They're just pragmatists and irritating so-and-sos that turn around and say, as I think you may have challenged me on this before in the past, Mike, that's a really duff idea. Why did you do that? How can we rebuild? And I think I've probably done something similar in return as well. So it's not all your way.
So Mike, 2 things, if we can, before we let you go.
Yep.
First of all, thank you very much for your expertise and your time. But the last 2 things are this. If there's one thing that people watching or listening to this right now can do every day consistently that would have a huge impact over time to their mental wealth, what would that be? And the second thing will be, if people want to know more or try and get a scorecard from you, or get you on their scorecard even, how can they get in touch?
Okay, the simple thing is on a daily basis is look after number one. And I know it's not kitschy, it's not bandwagon. It's the reality check of, okay, today, what am I doing for me? Through isolation and lockdown, the amount of people who have taken proactive, positive steps to just go for a walk every day and have some me time. It's understanding that balance of when you're isolated versus when actually I can do something different. So by looking out for number one and realizing, is this in the best interest for me, so that I can then help and serve others, be that in your family, be that in your school, be that in your company, whatever it happens to be. And as far as talking to me, having a wonderful religious surname that I don't have, it's very easy to find, mikepagan.com. You'll find all my noise and details on there, and LinkedIn and everything else. So yeah, happy to have conversations and answer questions. This is the key part of all the mental wealth support network, is asking and being asked better questions, because the better the questions, the more choices and options can be created, and then decisions can be made because you're doing it in a supportive environment.
My young friend with great noise, Mike Pagan. Mike, thank you very much indeed for your time, your energy, your love, your expertise. Thank you for sharing that with us. And let's, one day when this crazy train eventually pulls into a station, look forward to having a chat and a hug again. See you soon.
You will do. Always a pleasure, Dave.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos. Then click the TV to watch the next video. Oh, and don't forget to visit our website at davidhyner.com to claim your free audiobook. Until the next time, go Rhino. Have in it.